stuff with Thamba there. Let's hope he keeps moving and Tristan manages to stay with him. For now, as you can see, these boys don't seem very active at all. They actually haven't even moved as we drove into the sighting. There's two brothers here. These are the same two, I'm fairly certain, that Taylor photographed from a hot air balloon. Wonderful photograph she took. And we spent a bit of time with them. I also followed these guys. They massacred quite a few wildebeest. Sadly, we couldn't get any of the takedowns during the turmoil. But we have spent some time, or at least I have spent some time with them. It was actually incredible. They got up off one wildebeest kill that they had just made. One of them didn't even start feeding on it. Only one of them started to nibble on it, and then they heard some wildebeest stampeding a few hundred meters away, and they left the one carcass and actually went and caught another two. They each got one the second time around, so they caught 3 wildebeest in the space of 20 minutes, of which they only partially fed on 2 of them. The third one they did not even touch. Sadly for them, though, the migrating herds have moved off, so it's going to start becoming a lot trickier for them to get meals. For the last couple of miles, we haven't seen one prey species. These plains are deserted. But their bellies seem kind of okay for now, so they're not starving. It's a beautiful afternoon, quite a strong breeze, but nice and cool, so they're enjoying this afternoon for a snooze. Now I'm told that Tristan and Taylor have been enlightening you about some scary bush tales, and for me, probably the most scared I've been since I've been here was a night out with Manu. We drove for about an hour and a half until we eventually found the migrating herds. It was still when they were quite far south before they moved north. It was about 2 a.m. when we started reaching these massive swarms of wildebeest. There was just thousands and thousands of them in these rolling valleys. And they were all stampeding absolutely wildly. And when you're driving around and a couple of thousand wildebeest come stampeding past your vehicle, it is quite intimidating. It was a really interesting night, actually. A zebra ended up getting its leg broken just in and amongst the stampede. There was no predators chasing them, and 2 hyenas came onto the scene, started eating it alive, and then it was kind of paralyzed, and then thankfully a young male lion, similar to these guys' size, came in and killed it. So that was a very memorable night and scary night for me, having those. The first time I had to experience, or was lucky enough to experience, the stampeding herds after dark. So now we wonder what to do, whether to stay here or carry on looking for something else. I tend to be quite impatient. Hello, Riti. You would like to know if a lioness came along, if these 2 boys would split up. And I'm guessing, Riti, that you are implying that the lioness is in season. Or if not, either way, no. I don't think they will split up. What often happens is one male will look on to the dominant male as he enjoys mating with the lady. Often you have male lions who are not dominant that casually follow along and watch. But these guys aren't of age yet. They'll still be flying below the radar. I have seen them. They do join up with the pride from time to time, but they're spending more and more time alone, as far as I'm aware, and beginning to think about establishing their own territory. But they've still got a couple of years before they're going to be big enough and strong enough to do that. Having said that, though, if a lioness did come onto the scene, they'd certainly try their luck, but it would be kind of against Mother Nature's plans. I'm guessing they're about 3.5 years old, maybe 4. So in the next year or so, or 2, they'll possibly start throwing their weight around. But for now, they're just learning the ropes. Oh, very good. Well, let's just enjoy this guy, seeing as he's semi-woken up. At least we can enjoy him as he gives himself a manicure. Hello, boy. I was worried you were going to sleep until tomorrow. I wonder if it was just the flies that have been bothering him, or if he's actually thinking about starting to get up. Beautiful young male. What's that scratch below his eye there? That is a new scar. I definitely don't recognize that, and you can see it's fairly fresh. And that's testament, oh, he's got a few scratches on his nose, that they are going to still get beaten around a bit, possibly by their fathers if they hang around home too much, or possibly by other males that they stumble across. And I'm fairly certain it was these two that, who was lucky enough to see that kind of fight? I think it was Brent and Manu, who had a little bit of a scrap between two older males, and in all likelihood these two. He's looking quite thuggish at the moment. Well, while this guy continues to groom himself, let's send you across to Taylor, who possibly has one of the males that beat these guys up.
I possibly do. I think we do have Scar, but we're looking at a lilac-breasted roller that's just sitting above the tree, above the big male lion, but he's fast asleep and he has no idea that that bird is sitting up there. And they're lovely birds, although the way that the sun is shining on it doesn't really do it much justice, because you can't see its beautiful colors now, can you? It's beautiful and lovely feathers and also flies. Probably going to catch an insect that it's spotted on the other side of the road. Goodbye, little lilac-breasted roller. Thank you very much for providing entertainment, because this big male lion at the moment is in a deep sleep and doesn't show any signs at all of waking up just yet. But that's okay, because he's nice and flat in the grass, he's hiding, and what's happening is that the animals are gathering around him. He doesn't even know about them just yet, but there are zebra just up to the right of him. There are also Thompson's gazelle and impala, and a variety of different types of animals. They're still pretty far away, but they seem to be slowly, very, very slowly heading around the side. And this is perfect hunting grounds. Look how long that grass is, and that's what he'd have to go through to go and get those animals. And when you're a big male lion and you have a big mane, you need tall grass, otherwise you're going to be spotted in the short stuff. You don't get to hide away as easily as the girls. So it's actually perfect for him. This is a very good spot. And there's wind tonight, which is wonderful. I've now also taken my this off just for a little bit, because most of my hair now is at the back of this tape. I've lost probably about 2 kilograms worth of hair, and it also gives my chin, it scrapes against my chin, so I'm just going to have a little break and then I'll put it back on just now, I promise. Now you get to see me with my hair down, but you can see why I cannot have it loose on safari. It's wild, it blows, it must be tied up and live under a cap, and I'm pretty sure Scar has that problem every now and then and probably wants to do the same thing too. Yeah, I thought I saw a twitch of a paw, but no, I don't think so. And then also you have to squint in the sun. I wonder if Scar's mane at all helps him when it comes to when he's walking, moving around during the day with shading his eyes. I don't know, though. Now, proud cat mama, you're wondering how much would an average male lion weigh? Well, Scar's a pretty big boy, if this is him. I could be calling him Scar, that's not even Scar. I reckon he weighs closer towards 200 kilograms, between 180 and 200 kilograms, which is the typical weight for a male lion. However, there have been some exceptional ones. I've heard rumors and stories of male lions that weigh 250 kilograms. That would be scary. Maybe a captive lion could get to that weight, but out here, I mean, we do see them with big bellies, but they don't stay full like that for very long. They're typically quite lean. You know, they can't be too obese, or they wouldn't be able to catch anything. So it's important that they stay fit and healthy and don't overindulge. Although when you're trying to catch your own food, I think it's very difficult to overindulge. And it's much easier when someone is just serving it to you on a silver platter just about every single day, and you don't have to run around to go and catch it and, you know, have 5 or 6 attempts before you're successful. Oh, our road is back. That's nice. I wonder if it got an insect. I didn't see. I tried to turn my head and then my mane blew into my eyes and I was completely blind. So actually, my mane is a hindrance to my senses because it stops me from seeing. Maybe that's into the wind, because I find I have to do that. I just have to walk when my hair is loose. The wind cannot be coming from behind, otherwise it's a huge problem. But it's going to be lovely. I think we're going to have a spectacular sunset. I did say that earlier this evening. I think that could be quite nice. Shall we set a challenge for ourselves? Well, for the guys, I think we need to try tonight with our outfits on, so I'll have to get my mask back up. I think we should try and do silhouetted shots of the guides standing on the bonnet in the sunset, or at least just the face, so you can sort of get the shape. I think that could be quite cool. So hopefully Tristan will join. Tristan will definitely join, and he's always up for a challenge. Scott, are you up for the challenge of silhouetting yourself against the sky? See, it's disastrous. I can't actually see it all. Oh, and it's just actually gone. Look how pretty that is. It's just dipped behind a cloud. Now it's going to make some beautiful light. Even an aeroplane just taking off above. Oh, wow. How beautiful is that? So we won't be able to do our challenge just yet. We'll have to wait for that sun to drop, maybe in another half an hour or so. But that's cool, though. That's beautiful. We're actually in the same spot as yesterday. Our sunset's going to be exactly the same. But I think with those clouds, it's going to cast some beautiful light off on to the back of the sky. Now, dumb shark, you're wondering if the darkness of a mane will affect the way a lion hunts. I think that was the gist of it. Sorry, it broke up a little bit. No, not at all. The color of the mane shouldn't. I mean, if you look at the color of the termite mounds, and we can have a look at the color of a termite mound just over to the right, look how black in color it is. So, you know, if a lion is sitting very still, and that's what happened the first time I ever saw Scar, I thought it was just a termite mound when we were trying to relocate him, because obviously we saw him run in, so we knew where he went, but I went away and came back, and I struggled to find him again, and because he looked like a termite mound, but this is definitely Scar. Oh my goodness, now we can see. Hello, big boy. We've been waiting for you. Scott needs to come here. Kirst, you have to tell Scott to come and find me. We're close to Hippo Pools. We're just after the little bridge that goes to the Mara River. I'm going to wait here, but I know Scott has never ever seen Scar, and I would really like him, and I don't know if he'd want to maybe come and take over the sighting, because it's beautiful. And if he carries on where he is in an off-roading area, which is quite nice too. So hopefully he'll walk towards all the zebras. And I think this would be a nice Halloween present, a treat rather than a trick for Scott. He was saying this morning that he's never seen him, that he wanted to come and join me. So, Scott, here's your opportunity. I must have missed him. He must have just been around here and my eyes were not working properly, which is not impossible. So, I reckon if he wasn't here where he is right now, maybe he was under another gardenia tree or a shepherd's tree or a balanites tree, whichever he had chosen, and just laying flat in the grass, and that's why we weren't able to see him. But yay, he's up, he's starting to groom himself. That's exciting. Hopefully we'll get him looking towards us and giving us a beautiful big yawn, because the light is going to be stunning. Ah, wonderful. And good news, Scott is on his way. He's going to come this side. So what we'll do is when Scott gets here, we'll leave and we'll hand the sighting over to him. I can't wait. He's going to be like a giddy schoolboy, don't you think? Ah, that's going to be nice. I think, okay, shall we do this? We're going to prep now. Once we go over to Scott when he arrives at the sighting, I think that you need to capture the first moments. So try and take a screenshot of his face and how excited he is to finally meet this lion. Especially because he's been working in Kenya for so long and you know, he's heard about this lion. The fact that he hasn't had a chance to see him makes me sad. Oh, he's a stunning cat. You win, Scar. You still have the best mane in Africa. I won't take that title away from you, but perhaps, my dear Uncle Scar, you can hand that title over to me when your time as ruler of the Mara Triangle, or the sort of middle section of the Mara Triangle, is done. You can give it. I've got the crown already, actually. You can come over here and try and take it from me. Ha ha. Imagine Scar with a crown. Wouldn't that be beautiful? He's got a leaf, though. He's got a leaf in his mane. Not a chameleon. I got excited. Every time I see any any green or anything in a lion's mane. I quickly have a look to make sure that it isn't a chameleon crawling up. And we actually told Jahawi the story. Jahawi, can you believe it, that one of our freelance guides, Evia, and a fella I used to work with, he had a sighting with one of the Birmingham boys, which is a coalition of males that roams in the Sabi sand, with a little chameleon climbing on its mane. Did you ever think you would see something like that? Most unlikely sighting. Isn't that cool? But not only is Scar grooming himself, that lilac-breasted roller was also starting to preen its feathers at 1.2. Wonderful. Well, we'll hang around with Scar and hopefully he will give us a full frontal view while Scott makes his way to his first sighting of this beautiful lad. Let's go back across to Tristan.
Well, Thamba is giving us an equally beautiful sighting. He's giving us every angle we can imagine. He's up on a mound, beautiful golden light, and he looks absolutely stunning up there. Interestingly enough, though, there's definitely another leopard somewhere in this general area. I don't quite know where exactly, but we've got lots of alarm calls nowhere near where Thamba is. It sounds like a little bit south of us. Lots of alarm calls for Nyala and Bushbuck around the lodge, so I wouldn't be surprised if maybe, just maybe, Kuchava or Tundi could be in the area as well. So it's going to be interesting to follow it. But before we follow Thamba, we've also got a little hitchhiker that's got its best Halloween costume on as well. It's furry, it's got lots of color, it's looking quite vibey, as Megan would say, and is really kind of coasting along the dashboard and having a little good time of it as well. It's trying to find a work away off, and I'll eventually find a stick where I can maybe try and pull it off. The exciting thing is about our caterpillar that's inching away is that Thamba is also heading to the rocks that I was talking about earlier, and so I'm hoping that we're going to get Thamba on the rocks, sunset. It should just be absolutely perfect. So that's the idea anyway. Whether or not it works, I'm not quite sure, but we're going to try, and we're going to try and give it a bash and just see. Hopefully our signal will stay, because where we're heading is down into the Mulawanini. The other day I did have signal in that area. I had signal very close to the place that we are going to go, and so hopefully we should have a situation where we'll be able to maintain it. But he is heading straight towards the rocks as we speak, so I'm going to just quickly loop around. Just give me a second, and hopefully, like I say, signal will last. But let's just try get around. Please, Thamba, go up onto the rocks, please. I'm just going to try and get in here. Now, of course, there is a lot of sand and a lot of other nonsense that's in the way that we need to just get around. Whoa, it's all happening. Now let's see where he's going to go. He seems to be kind of walking towards this area. Now it's a bit of a gamble that I'm taking. And I think Kirst, who's back from leave and directing, must be a little bit flabbergasted at the fact that we are actually in the Mulawanini and got reception. It is quite strange and is very, very cool. Now I'm just trying to see where he's going to go, but this is the rocks that I'm talking about. Look at those rocks. Imagine now if Thamba goes and sits on there and we get a sighting of him with the afternoon sun on that rocky section. That's what I'm talking about, and that's what we need. So hopefully he is going to head this way. He's just on top. I can just make him out on the top there where the other vehicles are, and his direction is slowly but surely towards this area, and so I'm hoping he is going to end up on one of these rocks at some point fairly soon. And if you were with us the other day in the bad weather when we stopped here and I was talking about these and how much this is kind of an area where leopards have walked past, and I've seen them lying all around this but never on the rocks itself. And so today is the best test of what's going to happen, and hopefully he is going to be able to come. There he comes. You see he's busy chasing a squirrel. There's a squirrel on the rock, so he's watching the squirrel. There you can just see him on top, and there's the little squirrel. Now the squirrel might ruin this for us. It's awesome because he's hunting a squirrel, but it might ruin his kind of setting on the rock itself. You see, there he comes, chasing after the squirrel. Oh no, squirrel, you've not done a good thing for us. You've gone the wrong way as well. It's taken Thamba to the wrong rocks. I suppose there are some rocks here that he might lie on, but he's definitely interested in the little squirrel. And a young leopard like this, that's what he's going to be hunting more than anything else, is little squirrels and hares and those kind of things. And that's why he's so interested. You can see far more interest in that than he was in the impalas earlier. Now, Kirst, unfortunately, one thing about being down here is that there is very little signal. radio-wise, I can hardly hear Kirst at the moment. So I'm just going to reverse back where I could hear her. I just want to see where he goes. He looks like he's going to come down the hill with me. So I'm going to reverse back into an area where hopefully... Oh no, he's settled down now. So let's try and just give ourselves a little bit more height that we can maybe hear Kirst. No, Kirst, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to hear you, but you can try and maybe send me a message or something. I don't know, that's going to be the best bet, because at this stage I can't hear anything that Kirst is saying. It's broken up completely. But now all I got out of that goes is link to Taylor, so we do have a 10-second delay, so I'm going to try and talk for 10 seconds and hopefully I'll link at the right time. I believe Taylor is out, and hopefully she's still got lines and Scar, and he's now turned to face her, and that he's going to be able to present a beautiful view of his face and his scar.
Just getting better and better and better for our silhouette challenge, and Scar got up very quickly and he moved, and he's now laying in the beautiful long golden grass that's got the most gorgeous color to it at the moment, except for the fact that we can't see him. He's injured though, more injured than what he already was. He was limping quite badly with one of his front paws. He'll be fine though. He's a tough old fella. So he's obviously had an altercation with someone. Maybe it was with a animal that he was trying to take down too. Remember how I said I saw that buffalo that had those bite marks and scratch marks on his rump, and it didn't look like from too many lions. Maybe it was Scar that took him on and he got a hiding, and that's how it managed to get away. So I think what we will do, I mean, it's just very difficult to obviously sit here when you haven't got even a glimpse, not even a glimpse, we don't even have an ear of him at the moment. So we might do a couple of loops and then hopefully we'll catch him when he comes back. I've also now put my mane back on. Oh, here's our chocolate. So we wanted to eat some chocolate and then it's melted. So we can't eat it. We can drink it though. We're feeling peckish. What's for dinner tonight? I wonder what we're having. Last night was amazing. What did we have for dinner again? Forgot. No. Roast lamb. Roast leg of lamb. Lion's favorite meal. Absolutely delicious. So we'll keep bumbling for a little bit. We'll see if we come back here a bit later. Otherwise we'll try and come back in the morning and have a look, and we can always follow up. I'm just glad that he is back and he's around. It's quite nice. Yeah, some zebra. Hello, zebra. I'm still thinking, I don't want to move too far away from here though, because I think we're in the right spot for a silhouetted shot, because we're quite low down, so I can hopefully stand up higher than the horizon. Well, that's the idea anyway. Zebra, you're going to walk straight to a lion, or you're going to go the other way? I'm uncertain as to what route they're walking at the moment. They're not quite going towards him. They're just going a little bit further west away from him. But he will have plenty of options, although if he's slightly on the sore side, he didn't look very thin. He looked like he'd eaten not too recently, but he's still fine. He was still in lovely condition. Maybe he's not actually going to go after anything at all tonight. That's also another possibility, is that he's just going to rest up, and he knows how important it is to recover. Or he's going to have to rely on going back to one of the groups of females that he sees and hope that they have a kill for him. Okay, bye lion. Bye Mr. Scar, Uncle Scar, my uncle. My great Uncle Scar, should call him that. I'm going to get into trouble. I'm so sorry, Chris. Please can you repeat that? I didn't hear anything. Said something about Tristan. Tristan's obviously... You know what I don't understand about Tristan? Tristan's very chirpy this afternoon. He's always pretty chirpy. Oh, not even Tristan. Here's me going to tease Tristan, and it's actually all of you are saying the sun looks like a pumpkin because it's Halloween. Fair enough. So what I was going to say though is that I was obviously bossing Tristan during the school drive. I was saying, please find giraffe, please find waterbug, please do this, please do that. And he wasn't having any of it. And then I'd said to Kurt, I said, I don't want to hear any of his sort of talking back, because giraffes don't have very overly developed vocal cords, so they can't make too many sounds. He's going to what? Have to hum at me or make that weird sound that normally makes. Anyways, my mask is falling off, so I'm going to try and fix it. Scott's got a surprise. I'm not going to tell you what it is.
We do indeed have a surprise. And what a Halloween treat this is. A black rhino. They're quite wary, and they can often be quite aggressive. If they're not sure what it is that's in and around them due to their bad eyesight, they often just come charging in to chase them away. Oh, there's Taylor in the background. Well done, Dave, with a punch zoom. Two-shot, Taylor and a black rhino. The treat is just getting better and better. Oh, it just yawned there. And, or maybe it was just opening its mouth to nibble on some of the bushes it's browsing on. And that is what distinguishes them from their cousin, the white rhino, which feeds on grass. These guys are strictly browsers. I wonder if that notch out of his right ear is an identification notch so that they can keep track of individuals. It doesn't look neat enough to be. And usually both ears are notched, so maybe that's just a... Oh, it looks like the other one might also be notched. And they do that just so that they can keep track of them. They are highly, highly endangered animals, both black and white rhino. And they need to be guarded and protected quite fiercely. No! It's a burrowing rhino. It should come out at some point. It just seems like a little riverbed that it's going to cross. There he goes. Well done, Dave. And it's the first time I've seen one in this area. It's quite interesting. And obviously it's come here to cash in on some of the vegetation that is maybe becoming tasty after the rains we've had. Or who knows, maybe he's looking for a lady or marking his territory. Some topi in the background. And Melissa, you'd like to know if it hurts for the rhino if they chip their horn, and no, it doesn't. You can chop their horn off right to the base of their nose with a chainsaw, and it's not going to hurt them. It would be the same as trimming your toenails or fingernails or cutting your hair. There's no feelings in it. So they often actually spend a lot of time sharpening their own horns. Some get very, very long. There's some black rhino in Kenya with monstrous horns, incredibly long. There's a female with a horn longer than a meter. But ordinarily, they kind of sharpen them as they're grazing and browsing and rub them up and down. So they do wear down naturally. That's how they keep them so nice and smooth, or at least the front one. The back one's not nearly as smooth as the front one. Tricky to see from here. Some oxpeckers are doing a good job catching a ride and a meal on its back. So no, Melissa, there's absolutely no problem or pain caused if it was to take a little nick or chop off its whole horn. Obviously, if it was to break off the horn right at the base, it does have a root system just like your hair follicles do. That will become painful. And sadly, that's why poachers don't want to just sedate them and chop off the top part of their horn, which would cause no damage to the rhino. There's quite a lot of horn that goes into that base, and because it's the widest circumference at the base of the horn, they hack everything out and that way get more money for their deal, sadly. You can see its hooked lip there, which is perfectly designed for browsing on leaves, whereas their cousin, the black rhino, have got very, very square lips, perfect for grazing. Hello, RR, you would like to know if black and white rhino can breed? No, not as far as I'm aware. I have not ever heard of any hybrids between the two. Interestingly, you do get white rhino up in Kenya now, but all of them were bought from southern Africa in the hope to keep white rhino in a wild habitat just not where they naturally occur, and they're actually doing incredibly well in certain parts of Kenya on the Laikipia Plateau. They've got good rhino numbers up there. And there they do have black and white intermixing, but they don't have any trouble. Here in the Mara, there are no white rhino. There were none here to start with, which is very surprising because this is the perfect habitat for white rhino. They would have an incredibly good time in these open grasslands. You'd actually think it would be the roles reversed. You'd think there'd be lots of black rhino in Djuma where there's lots of leaves, and you'd think there'd be lots of white rhino up here. But it's the opposite way around. Now that we can see its left ear, you can see 2 notches in it, so I do think it was a specifically man-made act so that these animals can be kept track of, easily identified. Wonderful. Well, that was an absolutely great treat. Thank you, Halloween gods. And you've got another treat in store for you with Tristan.
We do have a treat because our leopard is slowly but surely, I think, latching onto a scent of another leopard. He's sniffing around all over the place here, smelling, working out what's going on. There's been a few phlegm grimaces. I can still hear an odd alarm call to our south, but slowly but surely he's heading in that general direction. Now he is going up onto a mound and it should be absolutely beautiful up there. Oh, he's just stopped in the wrong place for us. Hopefully he'll go up on the mound itself and settle down, but he's just kind of positioned himself just on the top, just to look over the top and check it out. And you can see he's listening quite intently, so I think he's heard these alarm calls and he's now curious and wants to investigate what is going on, who is calling and why are they calling, what leopard is here. Now we know Kuchava was seen here yesterday in this exact area, and so maybe this is her scent that he's sniffing, which is obviously his sister. It comes from the same mother. In terms of a father and mother, it's difficult to know exactly who. We think that Kuchava is Mvula, and if you look at Thamba, he has got some similarities to Mvula too, so you never know. But theoretically it should be Tingana that is the father of Thamba and Mvula the father of Kuchava. But he'll still know that this scent is familiar. I'm sure he smelt it before. At the end of the day, he has spent time with and around and near Kuchava over the last little bit. He has had a situation where right now, I believe Taylor has gotten her outfit and she wants to show it off in the silhouette. I'm not sure it can count because at the end of the day she's taken it off and put it back on again, but well, let's go across to her and see how she's looking in her lovely Halloween costume.
Very naughtily jumped out of the car, but Richard, my Sky, said I can't, because obviously when we have animals approaching the vehicle, you don't want them to get too close, and unfortunately sometimes what happens out here is that animals get onto vehicles. So, if you see a lion or a cheetah doing this and approaching your car, you should probably drive away from it. Otherwise, they could get onto your bonnet like this. Anyways, the reason why I wanted to climb onto the car was because I've been told how I'm supposed to pose. Is this fine? Do I need to... the main out. We're doing silhouetted shots now. Remember I gave this challenge earlier, so take some pictures. I don't know, should I pose like this, like this, like this? What else can I do? Make a heart. How does one make a heart? A silhouette like that. Do all sorts of different things. Hopefully I've won this challenge, and I hope that Tristan climbs onto the bonnet of his car, and I hope that Scott does the same thing. Now I need to get in. Do I go around or do I just go over the top? I'm very well equipped into this car because I have to climb onto it every single day. Oh, I've got a mane and a crown. I've just hooked my shorts. Okay, almost. On a Pro. That would have been disastrous if I'd ripped them. Okay, let me get back in and plugged in. Now I'm going to find the right cable. Okay, I can hear again. But isn't that lovely? Isn't that amazing? There we go, that's just me just shutting the door, and it's turning out to be a beautiful evening because the wind is dying down, which is lovely. Very cool. Right, it seems as though our next contender is about to, well, pose on the bonnet, and your next contender is Scott.
go. I hope we competed sufficiently with Taylor, the fearsome she lion. And this thing's not very comfortable, hence the fact that I haven't worn it for too long. But it's a very, very cool skull. It actually fell off my head when we were starting the drive and thankfully didn't break. I tried to put a piece of foam in it to protect my skull as well as this little funny thing, but it wasn't hugely effective. Marvelous. Marvelous. Certain. Sadly, our rhinoceros friend has wandered off, so shall we. Hello, James. You would like to know, out of all the critters out here, which makes the scariest sound? And I would probably say a tree hyrax. If you do not know the noise that they make, you think that somebody is being murdered. It's a horrifying noise. It kind of goes something like, no, I'm off. I'm not hitting the right notes. But do yourselves a favor and just do a little quick search for tree hyrax audio. And they also make this funny clicking noise sometimes when they start warming up, like. And then all of a sudden they start screaming like it's the end of the world. The other problem that makes it quite eerie, James, is that they are nocturnal. So the audio is at night time, which is always spookier than the daytime. So yeah, that's probably one animal that makes a surprisingly horrifying noise for what's a very cute animal. For those of you who don't know what a hyrax is, it's a very interesting creature. It's in its own family. They're hamster-like. They look like hamsters, but they're not. And they're closely related to manatees and elephants, interestingly. But very, very different beasts to the two. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Well, we're going to carry on perusing, see what we can find, and send you back to Tristan and Thamba.
Well, he is sitting on a beautiful, beautiful termite mound, and the sun is slowly setting, and the light on him is just absolutely ridiculous. It is gold, it is rich, it is perfect light, and there he comes down the mound. So he gave us a quick glimpse in the most gorgeous light, and now he's on his way, walking in our shadows. You can see Senzo in our shadows. Wave, Senzo. There we go. Senzo, you've got to wave. There we go. Senzo is waving. So he's now, looks like he's going to keep moving. How long we're going to be able to keep him in here, I have absolutely no idea. It gets quite dense, quite thick, quite quickly. So we're going to try our very, 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 very best. At the end of the day, I do still need to go and try find that bird for you at Chitwa. And well, as Taylor mentioned, I've got to do my silhouette shots on the dashboard and. So lots to do this afternoon. It's going to be a busy, busy, busy time. But we've had the most incredible afternoon with Thamba. Once again, it's 2 afternoons in a row where we've been spoiled. Seems as though he's going to move down towards the nets. That's where he's kind of heading, is southwards towards the net side, and probably because that's where he just feels comfortable at the moment. You know, at the end of the day, this is an area where he was born around this lodge, so he spent a lot of time in these sections, and you'll probably find he just feels a lot more comfortable being here than he does anywhere else around this area, and that, coupled with the fact that Tundi being pregnant is probably being a little bit more feisty than normal, a lot more scent marking, and maybe has been quite aggressive towards Thamba. We don't know what goes on in the middle of the night, but maybe she's already chased him and said, right, you stay here, I'm going northwards where I'm going to have cubs, you're not welcome there, go down to the south. And so that could have happened, we don't know, but at the end of the day, more probably because this is a natal area. He was born and grew up in a situation where he's pretty kind of relaxed. Now, if you are a new viewer and you have joined us, I do apologize. ridiculous outfit. Well, I don't actually apologize for my ridiculous outfit. We're having a bit of fun today. It's Halloween, so happy Halloween to all of those that have just joined us and our newish viewers and want to know why I'm wearing a giraffe onesie. Well, it's because of Halloween, and so we decided we'd do Halloween costumes. I mean, Taylor's got her lion. Scott is, well, I don't know quite what Scott is. He's some creature of I don't know where from, but he's got a ridiculously interesting outfit that looks quite scary, and well, I've just got a little giraffe and have been poked fun at, like I say, by a number of different people this afternoon. It's been actually quite entertaining to watch. Every single guest that we have seen that has come into this Thamba sighting has taken more photographs of us than they have of Thamba, which is quite ridiculous. So I know what it's like now to be kind of in the spotlight all the time. It feels a bit weird, but anyway. So let's rather focus on Thamba for the rest of the sighting, because like I say, I don't know how much longer I'll keep him for. This little section's not too bad. It's quite open here, and then it drops down into a very thick area where he's heading. He's heading up towards the airstrip side and close to where we heard a lot of those alarm calls. Now, our off-roading might attract some attention. Maybe another leopard comes to investigate, although Thamba seems to have decided this is where he's going to lie down. And you can see, to find a leopard in a place like this is just needle in a haystack stuff. It's really going to be very difficult to be able to see him in all of this. If you weren't able to track in this area, there's no physical way you would be able to spot this leopard from the road. It is just not possible at all. He's way away from a road now, and his camouflage is incredible. I mean, he stands out because we are maybe 3-4 meters away from him, but if you were 40 meters away, you wouldn't really be able to see that at all. And so it's why it's difficult in some areas to find leopard. It's not that they're not there, it's just that they camouflage very well, and the ability for us to track an off-road really helps us to be able to follow these particular cats and to get them habituated and get them used to our vehicles, that we can at least follow and move through thickets like this with them. Well, I wonder, the debate. I mean, obviously animals can surprise you, but you want to know what the largest prey item that Thamba could potentially pull down at the moment. I'm not really sure. I think he's bulky enough to pull down definitely fully grown male impalas. I have no doubt of that. If Hosana's been able to do it, Thamba is not much smaller, would definitely be able to. Whether he's got the skill and the technique down yet, I'm not quite sure, but I reckon he would be easily managed that. I think probably at a push, he might be able to manage a sub-adult kudu at this stage. At a push, I don't think it's quite what he's looking for. He's definitely probably doesn't have the confidence to go after something like that just yet. Once he gets a little bit older and he gets towards Tingana size, then most definitely we'll see a situation where he will go after probably all kinds of things, from kudu to waterbuck to nyala to bushbuck, impalas, all those big animals, and even potentially, like Tingana, wildebeest and even baby giraffe. So I reckon he'll get to that stage, but now is probably, male impala is probably as big as he would be able to go just yet. He's about the size of his mom now, in terms of, if you would want to, maybe a little bit more bulky, but he's adult female leopard, and we know that his mom has killed fully grown kudu females, so I suppose it's within the realm of possibility, but I just don't think he has the technique, nor does he have the desire to go after something as large as that. I think he's still learning his way, and hunting is a bit foreign to him, and so he's going to tackle smaller things. You saw his attitude towards the squirrel as opposed to the impala, is far more interested in the smaller object than the bigger one. So I think now at the moment mostly he's going to be sort of honing himself and getting himself used to squirrels and those kind of things before he upgrades. Lana, you're asking how do we identify two leopards with the same spot pattern? Well, Lana, there's no two leopards that are 100% alike. It's not possible. There's no identical twins. It just doesn't happen. So even if the spot pattern around the whiskers is very, 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 very similar, and you're battling, there will be subtle changes there, and there most definitely will be spot differences around the eyes. So you see on the top of the eye there's quite a few bars, and there's a number of little spots that go around the eye. That's a lot of the time that people will use those in order to ID them. Also, spots around the cheek areas. No two leopards will have the same spot. So as long as you can get a section of the body, it's not just the whiskers, and you'll be able to identify the leopards. There will be no two that are exactly the same. There will be differences in the face somewhere. It doesn't matter where. Somewhere across the bridge of the nose, over the eyes, around the whisker, there will be a spot that doesn't match on the other individual. So that's how you would do it. You would just look at places outside of the whiskers. You would look at eyes, you'd look at forehead, you would look at top of the head, you would look at on the shoulders, chest, anywhere around those sections, to be able to try and determine what's going on and where you need to kind of focus and where you'll be able to pick up differences between the leopards that we have out here. Now, I think Thamba is probably going to start sleeping fairly shortly, so I'm going to probably head towards Chitwa Dam to be able to try and kind of get our sunset shot at some point, because Thamba is starting to fall asleep a little bit, and maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to find him. Now, I didn't get the name, Curse. Sorry, I was too busy thinking about sunset. I didn't get the name. I got the question, but I didn't get the name. Billy Pickle, you want to know whether or not... No, I've forgotten the question. Now I'm just getting all mixed up now completely. I had it in my mind and then I got focused so much on the name. There we go. Will Thamba be Mvula's son due to his eye color? It is possible. So, Billy Pickle, I don't really know who the father is. It's possible that different males have mated with Thandi and caused her to have a litter, and even there could be different males within the litter itself. So we know that Thamba had a litter mate, and that litter mate might have been Tingana, and he might have been Mvula. It's possible. Quarantine could be the dad. It could be a multitude of different males that it could have been the father. We don't know. We don't see them mating all the time, and so it is very possible that Mvula could be involved. The thing is that Mvula just was not seen in this area at all and was not seen with Thandi. The thing about that, though, is that Thandi does go into really odd places, and she has been seen on Buffelshoek, she has been seen on Torchwood, and that is areas where Mvula does inhabit, and it's possible that Mvula might have had one night of mating, and that's all it takes, and then he might have kind of fertilized an egg, and we could have had Thamba from him. So the DNA structure would be able to prove who the father would be, but of course for that we would need the Panthera data to be released and for us to be able to then know exactly who is the father of Thamba. But it's possible. Yes, I see a lot of similarities in Thamba to Mvula, so it is possible, but who's to say? It's difficult to know. Maybe it was Quarantine, and we know Quarantine is in all likelihood Mvula's offspring as well, and that might be the link. Right, like I said, I'm going to leave Thamba here. We've spent a really great afternoon. I'm going to go try and find that bird at Chitwa Dam. I'm also going to try and do our sunset shot, because otherwise Miss McCurdy, all the way from the Masai Mara, will crack her whip and try and get hold of me. So I'm going to rush off there and see what she's up to.
Looking for wonderful animals. I haven't got my spotlight my spotlight out just yet, and where I was going with Scott was because the bugs are really, really horrendous tonight. They are coming around from all different directions and swarming the cars. I don't know what they are. They make buzzing sounds like mosquitoes, but they don't look like mosquitoes. They look like fruit flies, little midge type things. So I would like to know from Scott, maybe Tristan's having the same thing, how many bugs have you caught in your eyes yet? Because I'm on 3. I think I could be winning this competition, and all 3 in my right eye as well, which is normally quite good, because you know sometimes you multi-eye, but I've learned that I'm predominantly more right eye savvy when it comes to catching insects, which is interesting to know. I just learned something about myself this evening. I also realized that with this mask on I can't actually hear what I'm saying, because my ears are being hidden firstly by my hair and then by my mane, which is unusual. Normally I can always hear myself. I can actually hear FC very clearly today. My voice is not booming over there. So I don't know what else we're going to see. Maybe we'll go and check up on the Angama Pride. That's where we'll probably head from here. We're not too far. Oh, we're still on the river. We're quite far away from the bridge. But it won't take us long, maybe 10-15 minutes to get into the area that they like to move around in. I didn't see them this morning, so I don't know where they ended up. So that's what we'll do. Wonderful. And speaking of Scott lights and how many bugs you can catch in your eyes, let's jump back onto Scott's car and find out.
No bugs for me, thankfully. Taylor's obviously not having much luck in that department. I'm hoping there's quite a few giraffe here, and I'm hoping we're going to be able to get you some silhouettes of them. You can just make them out faintly, but there's one up ahead that's going to work well because it's closest to us, which will give us the best possible angle. So we're slowly going to creep up on her. As you can see, she's having to bend over quite considerably to get to this snack. Oh, don't go. Don't go. Okay, well, let's ditch her and try the others. We should be able to get a few good silhouettes of them. Just their heads, at least, I'm hoping. Very nice. Beautiful. That's a big bull, you can tell from those wide ossicones. Well done, Dave. You're making a tricky situation look very, very beautiful. Oh, he's salivating. Look at that long line of saliva dangling out of his mouth. Crazy. I just got a glimpse of it when the angle was right. Oh. Interesting. I wonder why you're running around. Just stretching your legs before the evening rest, perhaps. Very, very interesting. A few youngsters as well. Look at how cool their little tufts of hair are. What a beautiful scene. Incredibly peaceful animals, the giraffe. And they're also silent, which is maybe what makes them more peaceful than some animals like the tree hyrax who make horrifying noises. Oh, this is so beautiful. Look at her licking her lips with that long tongue that she uses like a tool. Sorry, he rather. Mainly to eat leaves off plants, but now it looks like possibly a reason why he's drooling is that maybe one of these females is coming into season. And the fact that she's tolerating him inquiring as to her state of affairs means that maybe we'll get some silhouetted giraffe love. He's doing a phlegm grimace now. We just can't see it, but I can almost guarantee that that's what he's doing to better process the smell, curling his lips up. Do it again now, please. It'll be so good if you curl your lips up now. Come on. Side profile, phlegm grimace, silhouette. But I don't think we're going to be so lucky this time. You may have to have another sniff just to further process whether she's looking for a boy or not. That's a female there. You can see how much thinner her ossicones are than that male. Sinek, you'd like to know how giraffes communicate from a distance. Well, there's a few different... The latest theory is that they've got a very, very low-pitched kind of humming noise, I'm told, that they can hear. I'm not sure what kind of a distance they can hear it over. But a lot of it may just be visual communication and communicating through smells, just like we saw that individual doing earlier, sniffing the female to see, well, that one's also salivating, this lady. So it's obviously got to do with something they're eating. I know when they feed on tambuti leaves, they can often, oh, these shots are so cool. They can often salivate, and that's a toxic plant that they'll feed on from time to time. So maybe a similar process is happening here. Magical. The wind's died down. I hope it stays like this. The same thing happened yesterday evening. The wind died down for about half an hour around sunset, and then it started howling again thereafter. It'll be wonderful if it stays dead calm and still. It's a perfect, perfect evening. Most wonderful. Hello, Swapna. I couldn't agree more to your comment saying African sunsets rather, are quite something, and they certainly are. We get spoilt day in and day out to varying degrees. I always love a few clouds. Of course, you need a few clouds, almost like paint on a canvas. If it's a completely clear evening, it's often not as impressive. Tonight is a perfect amount of clouds to go with the giraffe in the foreground. Imagine if we had them fully silhouetted, then we'd be winning. It's one thing that I haven't ever been able to share with you, I don't think, a fully silhouetted giraffe. We got incredibly lucky with the cheetah one morning, or one evening. It was an evening that you guys enjoyed the cheetah alongside us. One morning, it was before we went live, we had some incredible views of them. Very good. Well, I think we shall continue now. Thank you, Giraffe, for allowing us those beautiful, beautiful scenes. Alrighty. Oh, well, you wouldn't believe what's going on. The dream I was just hoping to share with you may just come true.
Well, as you can see, we're doing our sunset shot. This is our giraffe in the beautiful African sunshine, and well, it's a iconic picture really. So you can see our head is there and we're standing in all our glory. Now the best thing about this, as I said earlier, is that I have a little tail which is just here. Now when you're a giraffe, obviously you mustn't fall off the car, but you also have to wiggle your tail a little bit and give it a little shake so that it flaps around, because oxpeckers are a pain and they come on your rear end, and so you have to just kind of shake it and get rid of it, and that's how it goes. Now for those of you that are into screenshots, you can see that we have the most glorious sunset from Chitwa Dam, and what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to probably try and do what Giraffe can't do, and that is jump off the car. Hopefully I won't kill myself, hopefully I don't end up going down the bank because it's a long way down that side, but maybe you can get a screenshot of us jumping with the sun in the background, and it will be the first giraffe, firstly to drive a car, secondly to be on the bonnet of a car, well actually that's happened before, and thirdly to be able to jump. So here we go, Senzo, you ready? Okay, everybody ready? Here we go. There we go, we landed. Thank you very much, that's the show. We're now going to get back into the car so that we can try and find this bird that I was talking about. I think even the hippos were impressed. They've been watching from behind me here. They were quite happy with that. I didn't get any of a rounding applause or shouting from them, so all is good. But it's just the most ridiculous costume ever, but anyway, it's been fun to wear. I've actually quite thoroughly enjoyed myself this afternoon with our little onesie. So we're going to try and go and find this bird now. It's of course all ridiculous, and it's all Taylor's fault. I blame Taylor for all of this. She's the one that's instigated this whole process. So there we go. Hopefully the girls in FC enjoyed that. That was the little bum wiggle is always for them. They always have a good laugh at that side. So, and I hope you at home also enjoyed it. Right, now let's get a little more serious. The bird that I'm looking for, before we even go anywhere, right, so let's just establish what we're looking for, because we might just get a fleeting glimpse. Sorry Pooji, I need to get my book. Pooji was being squashed by the book. I'm very sorry there, Pooji. I didn't mean to squash you. Right, now book, where are you? Where? Somewhere around here. Now I'm not sure if these have ever been seen on Safari Live and put on camera, but what we've got is, I'm not sure which one of them. I just got night heron from the guys. Now I think it's a black crown night heron. The guys are saying white backed. I think it's a black crown night heron that we've got behind the dam wall here, and I'm not sure, like I say, if we've ever put these on camera. Maybe some of you can let me know, hashtag Safari Live, if we have put them on camera before. before. But night herons are tough to find, as the name suggests. They generally are out at night, and so we're going to head behind Chitwa Dam Wall and see if they're lurking. They might be, now that it's a little bit dingy and darker, they might just be on the edges starting to work around and find frogs and various other little things, and so that's the idea. Should be a new one for a number of you, because in the time that I've been here we haven't had any sightings of this bird, so for a lot of you that are newer viewers, this should be a good one for you. Oh, look at that sunset though. It's actually getting better. I should have waited a little bit. Oh well, it's getting absolutely magnificent, and there's even a pied crow that is in amongst the sunset. Now Kirst says I should do it again. Kirst, the problem with it is that it is a fairly serious mission with my earpiece to get it in and out of this onesie. Normally the earpiece goes down our shirt and in the back, but you know, it's quite difficult. Maybe what I can do, let's see if I can just do one thing. Hold on, Senzo, I'm going to roll forward. Maybe what we can do is we can just do a silhouette of the giraffe's head up against that backdrop. So I'll sit on the car and we can do the back facing little, I'll try and just get my ossicones to stand up a little straighter. Come on, little ossicones, up you go. No, don't flop over, no. Oh goodness, we'll try it anyway. I'll hold them up for effect. Oopsie, I'm just still attached. That's why I said I've got to be careful with all of this stuff. Now the best way to do this is probably going to be to sit on Rusty itself. Now Rusty, I apologize, I'm climbing all over you. Right, Senzo, you've got to tell me, can you see my ears or not? Okay, so let's hold up our little ossicones from here. We'll push them forward and we'll push the ears out, and there we go. There's our sunset backward silhouette of a giraffe and its ossicones and ears. Good, Senzo? Or must I be higher? Higher. As if I'm squatting. This is not a giraffe going to the toilet story. We're not doing, this is not what's happening. We're not doing squatting on on the bonnet of Rusty, because I feel like that might go viral if I'm squatting on the bonnet a little bit. So we're not going to do any squatting on the front of this car, that's for sure. Sorry, Senzo, that's not happening. Maybe if I'm trying to think of a better way to do this. Maybe if I sit on top here. Let's try that. We're trying everything. I feel like a supermodel on a kind of photo shoot, really. Not that I look anything like a supermodel, but how's that, Senzo? There we go. Are we winning? Sing if you're winning, Senzo. What song do you want to sing, Senzo? So Senzo is singing. I don't know if you can hear him, but he is singing. So there we go. Sunset picture done. Giraffe onesie photo calendar, anyone? Cheesy little smile. There we go. Right, okay, enough shenanigans now. Let's go and find a bird. I've messed around enough this afternoon, and really, it's actually quite fun, this onesie, because you slide everywhere. You don't actually like have any resistance. It's quite smooth, so you slide everywhere. I can see why giraffe like being giraffe. I quite like it. It's fun. Sorry, Jerry, I don't know if you're going to ever get your onesie back. Of course, this is Jerry's onesie, and this was actually her idea, all of this. I can't take credit for her ideas. She just didn't think I would wear it. That's all. And I certainly don't think she thought I would rock it the way we have in our fellies, that's for sure. So, Kirst, what's the verdict? Was that good? Did we do well? Do we get a round of applause? Round of applause. So I believe a lot of you are voting that I'm winning. Oh, look, 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 look. The little lapwings or the plovers have hatched. There's a tiny little chick. You see it? There it is. Look. How cute is that? So these are the little eggs that we've been watching yesterday afternoon and this morning. And look how little it is. There goes the adult. That little one is tiny. Now, where's your friend? Because you were in 2 eggs. It wasn't just the one of you. But how cute is that little thing? You've definitely got a better bum wiggle than I've got, that's for sure. And there it goes, off to the water. Mom's showing it. Come on, you've got to come this way. Come and have a look at what goes on. This is our life. We live life in water. There we go. Taken to water and huddling up against Mom for some warmth. Is she going to tuck it under her wing and carry it? You see the little legs sticking out. How cute is that? That is absolutely awesome. There comes the second one. The second one is also coming now towards the mom. It's just in front, Senzo. If you come out, just look at, there it is. So it's also heading its way there, and I wonder if she's going to tuck her wing over that. Now, Jacana males do this a lot. They tuck their little chicks under the wing, and they keep them warm by doing that. So I think this little one's also going to go. Well, careful, there's lots of mud. Luckily, Thamba's not around today, because these little guys would have been snacked on for sure. But let's see. No, you can't go to that wing. That wing's already got a chick. Come, other side. There we go. In you get. Come on, it's night time. In you go. Yes, cuddle up to Mom. No, not between the legs. Other side. There we go. You're almost there. Come on. How cute is that? That is too sweet for words. Hey, little one. Welcome to the world. It's so cool. Don't really want to petrify them at all. There comes the other little one. There we go. One happy little family bouncing around. That is as cool as it gets. And this is the best thing about Safari Live, is that we get stories like this of little animals that you would never really spend time with. If you were with guests, very seldom would you have the opportunity to do what we've done over the last 3 drives, which is come here repeatedly, have a look what's going on, and to see little chicks that have to have only been, they're only a few hours old. They must have hatched during the day today, and we know this morning the eggs were still there. She was sitting on them, so they've hatched during the day. So those little chicks are a matter of hours old, not even days, which is just the most spectacular, special thing. And what we do is amazing. We are fortunate in that we can spend time with animals like this. We can film it, and all of you can come and join us. That is one of the biggest highlights I've had since I've been at Safari Live. I know it seems weird, I know it seems strange, and I've seen some crazy cool things, but that is just awesome. I have never seen little 3-banded plover chicks that young, and certainly never followed the little story from the eggs to them hatching. Is just unbelievable. So that is the coolest thing ever. I'm so happy we came here. Now both of them are under. They've been pushed under mom, and they are now getting a bit of warmth, and it's fun to watch them. The two of them are just trying to tuck in underneath, and you can see she's now sitting down on top of the two of them, and their little feet are just sticking out on both sides of her wings. You see her wings are out slightly just to comfort them and hold them and keep them nice and warm through the night. So there the little legs are. Do you see the little legs poking out on both sides? How cool is that? That's very special. Absolutely spoiled. So I know leaving Thamba might have gone against everything that you probably all know about me, because I'm leopard crazy and I spend a lot of time with leopards and I love using every minute I can with them. But that right there has been worth every little bit of it. The shenanigans aside, to see that is as special as it ever gets, and really one of the coolest things that I've had in a long time. Ramilla, you say no tricks on Halloween, just treats. Well, I agree. It's been absolutely fantastic, and I'm glad that we've all had a chance. I mean, I know Scar in the Mara is an absolute hit, so that's a treat. I'm jealous that the guys do get to see him. I've always wanted to see him. I know that he maybe is not the biggest lion, nor is he anything else, but he's got something about him. There's no doubt about it, and I've always wanted to see him. So, you know, that's a treat. Thamba is my favorite leopard, so that's a treat for me. This right here is a treat for all of us and birds in general, because it's just a little win for birds in that it's cute, it's sweet, it's a little story that we've had over the last few days, and so I like that completely. It really is super epic. Right, now the bird that we came looking for to start all of this off. Philip, you're asking if both birds are involved in raising the chicks. Now, Philip, I've actually been thinking about this as we've been watching this over the last 3 days, and I haven't had a chance to read up on it. I do apologize. But, oh, is that it? No, that's an Egyptian goose. So I do apologize that I don't know the answer to this. But from my observations and what I've seen, it seems to be only one adult with those chicks at all times. So it seems as though it's only the female. Hey, there's a hippo. I didn't even expect that to be here. Does it have a little baby with it? I think it's got a little baby. It's just babies everywhere out here at the moment. Young male leopard, little chicks, and I think there's a tiny brand new baby hippo, because just behind her there's a bit of movement. You see, look, just behind her, behind those little reeds, I think a little tiny head should pop out there. So it should be a baby hippo that's going to show itself to us, and this must be brand new, because if she's out here and she's behind the dam in these shallows, it means that this baby has just been born in the last few days. It's being secluded, it's being hidden from the rest, and that means it must be absolutely tiny. How cool is this? Let's see if its little head comes out. There's a little absolute madness in the back of Chitwa today. It's just everything happening. There. What was that landed there? I saw something land there. No, it's not what we're looking for, but come on, little one, show your face. Now, this is very common behavior for a hippo. They often do this where, I think it's just behind the reeds, unfortunately. Center, I'm going to try just a different angle just to see if we can maybe see the little one. I obviously don't want to stress mom too much. She seems to be okay. There it is. There it is. Do you see it? It's so tiny. Look at it. It's just gone under mom's face. It is tiny. Look at that little head. How cute is that? That is so cool. Oh my gosh. Look at how small that hippo is. That is only a few hours old. I don't even think that's days. Look at it. It's so cute. That's amazing. How cute is that little thing? That's brand new. Very, very new little hippo. It's still wrinkly. That's ridiculous. No, that's too much. From cute little fluffy bird chicks to a tiny baby hippo, we are being spoiled behind Chitwa. And this is the thing about Chitwa. Chitwa has got so much to offer from a point of view that there's a lot of little things that we just don't get on Djuma because of the size of the dam, because of the different terrain that is around here. You get a situation where these kind of things are possible. We don't have the hippo population on Djuma, and so Chitwa is so special because of this. And this is right on the doorstep of the lodge. These guys have this right here, and it is amazing what life there is behind this dam wall. And I'm so glad that we have now got an opportunity to explore this area, because we haven't been able to because of the signal down here, and now we've got a situation where we're able to actually bring this to all of you and show you just how special this little section is. It's one of my favorite places in the whole world. I love this area. I've spent a lot of time in here. I have a lot of great stories from this area, and this is my absolute kind of one of my favorite places just to come spend time. When I was working at Chitwa, if I was off, I often used to just come and bird inside here just because of how special this little section is, and these kind of things are what you get. There also is, I've seen crocodiles doing the exact same thing in these little wallows where they have their little ones as well. So it's a great place for a nursing water animal. It's also a great place for birds and leopards and all of the kind of things that happen. But that is just the most ridiculously cute little hippo I've seen in a long time. It almost looks like Benjamin Button from the elephant world. It's also wrinkly and kind of tiny. So that's so cute. Now I'm just going to try and sneak a little forward to get one last look, because it looks like she's just herding it into a nice little clearing for us. I don't want to get too close, obviously, because at the end of the day it's a new mom, so she's going to be a little on the defensive side of her little baby, and so we don't want to push her in any way. We want her to be very comfortable. But look at that, there's the little one. Its face is just peeking out from behind the mom. Oh, how sweet is that? Hello, little one. Are you having fun? Mohammed, you're asking, there's a lot of babies this evening. Is it because of springtime? Well, the birds, most certainly. The young birds are spring and summer and early summer. This as well. I mean, we get a lot of situations. Hippos obviously give birth at any time of the year, but look at that. That is just ridiculously cute. Hey, little one, and you see it's nudging its mom. I think it wants a bit of milk. It's obviously going to suckle in water, but it is absolutely tiny. And look at the size of her ear in relation to the head. Now, a hippo's ear is not big at all. It's tiny. But that little head is being dwarfed by that ear, although its ears are quite large too. And it's just going to have a little nap next to mom. No, that's just too sweet. That's very cool. Spoilt is what we are. And so, Mohammed, getting back to your question, yes, I mean, at the end of the day, it is spring, so it is a time of babies. We're going to start seeing impala lambs. We're going to start seeing all kinds of those little things. And so it's going to be a wonderful time the next month. And this is why my favorite time of the year is September, October, November, is because of this. So much life starts, so many incredible little experiences, so many amazing moments like this that we get to have. And it's just the best time of the year for me. A lot of other people prefer winter or summer or whatever the case may be, but for me, temperatures are comfortable. It is just absolutely beautiful because you get lots of young animals. You get this whole process around predators and all kinds of other things with youngsters, and also just the youthful exuberance. Look, slowly but surely, she's just pushing it in. Come on. Encouraging it to start using those legs, start learning how to swim before it gets taken into the main dam. That is just too cute. Look at it. No. That's whoever says that that's not cute, I think might need to go and have a little checkup with a psychologist, because a little baby hippo's got to have the sweetest little face and definitely evokes emotion in everybody I've ever met. It is just the most amazing little thing. Now, we're not going to probably see our bird, our heron, just because it's not here, I don't think, with the hippos. And I think it's a situation that the hippos might have pushed it away. I will try and have a look, but I don't know if we will. Now, Sean, you want to know if baby hippos will suckle. They do suckle in water, and so this little one will just go underwater when it does suckle, so it needs to suckle. Now, the interesting thing about baby hippos, and we can draw comparisons between them and the rhinos, so we know Scott saw a black rhino today, and size-wise, hippos are very similar to those black rhinos. But the interesting thing about their babies and the way that they go about things, and it's not really to do with the way that they suckle, but is that even though as adults they end up as a similar size, you'll find that the hippo's gestation period is half that of a white rhino and even less of a black rhino. It's only 8 months, so it's less than a human that she's pregnant for. She then gives birth, and she'll take this little baby and she gives birth in water. Now, the reason why she has her calf so much younger than what the rhinos do is because out here there's not as many predators. She can keep it safe in the water. Things like leopard, lion, hyena, they're not going to be able to get to that, whereas a little baby rhino has got to be able to deal with that from day one. And so they stay in and they develop and get larger when they are born. So little hippos can be born earlier. They also get to suckle from the water, and so they're safe in their environment. They actually don't really need to leave the water at all. They basically can grow up just on this sort of section, and when they get strong enough and big enough, she can then transport them to the more sort of open dam area where the rest of the pod will protect it from crocodiles and various other things. So it's an incredible thing that they have such a short gestation period for such a large animal to be less than an adult. There's the heron, I think. Is it there? Just to the right, Senzo, there's a white bird just to the right there. It's just hopped up. There's the heron. The heron is also there. So there it is. You see it just in the background there? So that's the black-crowned night heron. So it's definitely a black-crowned night heron. I can see the grey of the wings, the black crown itself. Now I'm going to try and just go back a little bit for you. And I think it's nesting there because I saw it came off the ground. Senzo, just tell me when you can see. Sorry, there's a branch there. That's probably our best view that we're going to get for now. Hopefully it's going to come out above the hippo's head. But that should be a first for a lot of you. It is a special bird to see. It's not often we get to see one of these guys. So all of our missions this afternoon have come to fruition. We found everything that we were hoping to find. We got Thamba, we got the bird, and well, we got a lot more than we bargained for in the form of a baby hippo and 2 little tiny 3-banded plovers. So absolutely epic afternoon on Chitwa. We can't have anything better than what we've had this afternoon. The bush has given us so many gifts. We've been so spoiled. Senzo, welcome back to work in a bang. You've had a great time, buddy. So Senzo has come back and it seems as though he's brought all the luck as well. He's had some magic things. So there we go. I know it's not a great view of the heron. Hopefully it will come out somewhere. You can just see its feet there, and hopefully it will come out onto one of those open branches. It is hopping around in that area, and maybe we'll get a better view of it, but it's most definitely that's what it is. It's this right structure, right size, got that black crown that I showed you earlier with those grey wings, and it's the typical heron stance. They sit quite sort of angular to their legs. It's almost like a sort of 45-degree angle to the legs itself, hunched in neck, and that is typical of the herons. If the hippo wasn't there, I would try and get us a better view, but I don't want to disturb the hippo as much as I don't want to also chase the herons if they are nesting, because this morning I'm 100% sure that I saw 2 fly from that exact spot when I crossed over here looking for Thamba this morning, and so I think that they might be there. But there's the hippo underneath the heron. Wow, what an epic afternoon. So good. It really doesn't get much better than what we've had, and all of this in a giraffe onesie. Maybe I should wear this giraffe onesie more often. Now, Curse, I'm battling to hear you, so please can you repeat that again? I heard our beard, and that's all I got, so if you can just repeat the question. So I think I got the gist of the question, but correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, but it's breaking up quite badly. But I think you're asking, does the little baby have some sort of fat or blubber to insulate it when being in the water all the time as a young individual like this when it's born? So there we go. Not too bad, considering I only heard blubber and water. Yes, I would imagine that when it's inside the mother still, it's probably getting a lot of nutrients. She's probably sending a lot from her body that's making sure that when this baby is born, there's still quite a dense layer of fat. At the end of the day, they do also have very thick skin, and so that skin will help them just to stay nice and insulated. The blubber, of course, maybe will come as she suckles on this nutrient-rich thick milk. It's going to be able to put on a lot of weight quite quickly as long as mom is feeding well, which she should be. Now we've had a bit of rain, nice green grass, and so she should be passing on really nice healthy milk, and this little one should be getting it quickly and should be packing on the kilograms and help insulate her. She'll also obviously be in a little pond like this, means that this little one is going to be far more kind of insulated by the water itself. The water temperature in this is not going to drop nearly as drastically or be as cold as what we see in that big water source. This is going to be far less sort of cold. It's probably going to warm up a lot more, and so this little one will be just fine and will survive perfectly well. It's having the best time though. It's rolling around all over the show. It's having a great time, bouncing around, learning about mom, resting on mom, and this is just so cool. We'll just have to keep coming back into these areas and just follow the progress of this little hippo, because I can see that we'll be able to get some crazy sightings of this little one from here. Right, now, because it's getting to that time of the night, it's getting a little dark. I don't want a situation where we're going to stress this female hippo in any way. I'm going to leave this area. I don't also want to stress the little lapwings, the plovers as I go out. And so while I do that, let's go back to Scott in the Masai Mara.
Sounded like an incredible session with Tristan, and lots of interesting animals and cute little babies. Very wonderful. We haven't had as much luck. Otherwise, you would have been whisked away onto our vehicle, but that will hopefully change soon. There's a sneaky female leopard that James once got a visual of in this area, running off. And I'm sure she often is just slinking beneath our noses here. No joy. No joy just yet. So poor old Taylor and those bugs that kept flying into her eye, obviously one of them excreted some kind of an acid or something nasty. To try and proper eye drops. I'm told she's in quite a state, but she is okay. Jahawi thankfully took over. That we're about to be overtaken or undertaken, I think. Yeah. Goodbye. It's a bit tricky not having rear view mirrors. I just noticed that there were some extra lights behind us. So sadly, Taylor is out of the safari for this evening. Dusty. Not that bad. Only kidding. This morning, though, after drive, you have to drive up the hill back to work very slowly because it's very bumpy. We go into low range. And if the wind is blowing in the wrong direction, there's just permanently a cloud of dust around the vehicle, and there's no way you can speed off and escape it. So we had a very dusty return voyage. I was only pretending after this guy overtook. It wasn't too bad. I wonder when we are going to get our next rain. It's quite dry at the moment compared to when I left. Having said that, though, the vegetation definitely has got very green. Hello, Pokemon. You'd like to know what wildlife do I miss at Djuma? And it's the leopards, of course. Well, not of course, but we don't have nearly as intimate a relationship with the leopards here than we do down at Djuma. And I've been missing them. So, yeah, that's the animal I miss the most, and I also miss being out on bushwalk. We are constrained to the vehicles here, and to be honest, even if we were allowed to walk, it's not the best habitat to walk in because it's just so open, so you don't have enough cover to creep up on things. This is as close to rush hour as it gets for us. So yeah, Pokemon, it's the leopards that I'm looking forward to spending more time with. Spending time on foot, tracking them down as well. The animals I'm going to miss from here, I guess, well, the whole migration and that whole spectacle is one thing. But in terms of specific animals, it's definitely the cheetah. Had a great time with cheetah in this area, and it's the most time I've actually ever spent with cheetah in my whole career has been in the last few months here. Oof, it is very dusty. Can't really see it in the camera, but when I shine the spotlight, you can see it a bit better. The wind, again, just like this morning, is not in our favor, so it's not blowing it off the road. It's just blowing all that dust straight back towards us. Come on, aminals. Where are you? Maybe a zorilla. That'll be a nice treat for everyone on Halloween. A zorilla is essentially like an African skunk. It's also known as a striped polecat. We've had a few sightings of them, but not many. Dave was just telling me now he was lucky enough to see his first caracal in the Mara quite recently. I don't think I've seen a caracal in my entire guiding career. I remember seeing one when I went to the Berg, the Drakensberg Mountains, on a holiday with my family. I was young, I don't know how old I was, maybe about 8 years old. And we had taken everything. We arrived in the evening and we had unpacked the car. And for some reason, I guess my mother was defrosting it. She had put a chicken just like outside the front door to defrost. And she came around the corner and there was a caracal trying to run away with it. And I remember seeing that caracal, but that was a long time ago. So I'm looking forward to fixing that one of these days, or possibly going to an area where there are more caracal. That would help. The Mara certainly seems to be serval heavy. The Sabi Sands is heavy of neither of them. Sightings are very rare, although you do get both there. Hello to Palin. You ask an interesting question. You'd like to know how many people are on average in the Mara at any one time. And in terms of the Mara Reserve and the Mara Triangle, not the surrounding community conservancies, which also have lodges and therefore clients, I would guess there would easily be, now this is easily speaking, 100 vehicles driving around, possibly 200 during the migration season. I mean, you can have 40 vehicles in one sighting. So, and on average, let's say 6 people per vehicle. It's got to be more than that. So I'd say there'll be over 1,000 beds here, but I'm actually not too sure. What I can tell you is that the numbers have started dropping off hugely since the migration has left, and obviously there's a reason why people like to come to the Mara when the migration's here, because it's pumping. It's still wonderful to be here, and there's benefits of being here when it's quiet, not as many vehicles, not as chaotic, but yeah, there's definitely been a hugely noticeable difference in a lot less vehicles driving around. And the main months are June, July and August. Those are the 3 months that are the busiest in the Mara. But Pauline, sadly, I'm not actually sure on how many beds are in the reserve and the triangle. During the migration, every single bed will be full, just about. Wonderful. Well, I'm going to say good night and goodbye to all of you, unless I find something very interesting, and we're going to send you back to Tristan to finish off the safari. We'll see you in the morning.
Well, I think it has been a very, very, very successful safari, so we will happily finish it off. Maybe we'll even get something nice on the way home as we head back towards Djuma camp for, I suppose, a celebratory Halloween, because this evening we're having what's called Halloween, which is Kirsty and Jerry's idea, which is apparently a cheese and apple juice evening. I hear, not that I'm going to be partaking in any way. Grape juice, sorry, yes, Kirsty, you was quite right. Apple juice would not work well with that at all. So grape juice, I believe, for some that like that. Others will be maybe tackling something else. Who knows what the others will be into? I'm not quite sure. It's going to be an interesting one. Hopefully everybody else will also be dressed in some ridiculously themed outfit and join us in our hilarity that has happened over the past few hours, because it's really been so fun. And it's one of the best things about working here is that we have a whole bunch of people who really just want to have a good time, and to have Taylor and Scott be on board with doing stuff and getting into the theme of it and dressing up and driving past lots of people in the Mara and being looked at is really just the best way to spend an afternoon, to know that you've got people that you work with that are the same way and have a sense of humor and have enough of a fun sort of side to them that they don't really mind having a little bit of a laugh and doing cool things like this, because it really does add a bit of atmosphere to everything, and certainly hopefully it brightened up all of your days. Now when you're a giraffe and you've got an itch behind the head, it's quite difficult because you've got to you've got to try and get into the back behind the hoodie. Now everybody, I believe you're saying that it's been a great Halloween drive. Well, we certainly have been treated rather than tricked. I'm sorry that poor Taylor got something in the eye. That's absolutely horrible. It's never nice when a beetle gets in the eye. It scratches, it hurts, it really is uncomfortable, so I feel sorry for her. But from the bush itself, and we got a lot of treats. We got really some amazing things: scar, lions, leopards, baby animals. It's all kind of been absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately though, all good things do come to an end, and it is that time of the evening where we do need to say goodbye, and like I say, it's been a fantastic afternoon with so many wonderful things to experience. I hope you've all enjoyed it as much as what we have. I know Senzo and I have giggled away this afternoon, and so from Taylor and Senzo and Scott, myself and Kirsten FC, it's been a pleasure. We'll see you tomorrow on the Sunrise Safari.